Good afternoon and welcome to the April 22nd meeting of the Orlando City Council. We're going to begin today's proceedings with the invocation and the pledge led today by Commissioner Burns. Commissioner.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. If we could bow our heads. Gracious and merciful Creator, as we convene today as the City of Orlando Council, we come before you with humble hearts, seeking your presence and guidance in our deliberations. Grant us clarity of mind and purity of intentions as we undertake the important work of governing our city. Bless each member of this council with wisdom, discernment, and compassion as we address the diverse needs and concerns of our community. Help us to listen attentively to one another, to understand different perspectives, and to strive for consensus in our decision-making. May our actions be guided by justice, fairness, and inclusivity, ensuring that every voice is heard and every individual is valued. Strengthen our resolve to promote unity and cooperation among our constituents, bridging divides and fostering a sense of belonging for all who call Orlando home. We lift our city up to you, O Lord, asking for your protection, provision, and guidance in all things. Help us to be faithful stewards of the resources entrusted to us, and grant us the courage to confront challenges with resilience and determination. We give thanks for the privilege of serving our community and ask for your continued blessings upon our endeavors. May your grace and peace abide with us now and always. Amen.
Amen. Okay, call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll and make a determination of a quorum, please?
Commissioner Gray?
Here.
Commissioner Ortiz?
Here.
Commissioner Stewart?
Here.
Commissioner Sheehan?
Here.
Commissioner Burns?
Here.
Mayor Dyer?
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First order of business would be the agenda review and City Council meeting minutes from April the 1st and April the 8th.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Burns. All in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? And so the motion carries. So with a heavy heart that I start our update today by recognizing the passing of Orlando Fire Lieutenant Jeffrey Huggins, who was laid to rest this morning. Jeff was kind and compassionate, committed to serving the residents of our community. So during this tough time, we're sending our love and support to his family and his colleagues at OFT. So would you please join me in a moment of silence? Thank you. Okay, I want to remind District 5 residents that there is a special election for the District 5 interim City Commission seat, and it has been scheduled for Tuesday, May 21st. Early voting gets started on Monday, May the 13th, and I encourage residents to visit orlando.gov/election to learn about the ways to cast your ballot. I'm just going to mention one thing of note, and that is item C59 and CRA1, which is the SED Developers Agreement and Incentive Agreements. And it's pretty exciting to get this mixed-use development going and ensuring that we follow the work of turning our downtown into a true neighborhood. The district will activate the site of the OPD headquarters 24 hours a day, basically. It'll add large meeting space for events and conventions and visitors coming downtown. Some have passed the urban core, provide a location for small businesses and housing options. Commissioner Burns requested that we hear the item C9 after the CRA, after David's given his presentation. So if there's no objection, we will do that here, C9 then. Okay, with that, we will move to the consent agenda, which is a number of items that were acted upon through a single vote of council. We give each of our commissioners an opportunity to comment on items on the consent agenda and important happenings from their districts. We rotate the order we do that. Today, Commissioner Burns is first up.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, fellow commissioners and guests. Just give you a few updates on what's happening in District 6. On Wednesday, April the 17th, I had the pleasure of participating in the 2024 Fair Housing Workshop hosted by our Office on Human Relations. I would like to thank Kimberly Rankin and her team for their commitment to combating housing discrimination and promoting equal access to housing opportunities for all individuals regardless of their race, ethnicity, gender, religion, disability, or family status. I am fully supportive of this work and I look forward to remaining engaged. Also on April the 19th, I participated in the 2024 Kids Classic Golf Tournament hosted by the city's after-school All-Stars program. The day was filled with camaraderie, laughter, and good sportsmanship. I look forward to playing in this event each and every year, and I'd just like to give a shout out to Tyler Chandler and his team. They did an incredible job, and we all had an awesome time. Also, this morning, I had the opportunity to participate in a press conference that was designed to bring to light the Johnson versus Grants Pass case that is currently being heard by the Supreme Court. Johnson versus Grant Pass is a court case that was brought against the city of Grant Pass, Oregon, for arresting people experiencing homelessness who were sleeping on the streets and there was no safe place for them to go. More specifically, this case sets out to determine whether the enforcement of general applicable laws camping on public property constitutes cruel and unusual punishment, which is prohibited by the Eighth Amendment. This case is the most significant legal challenge to the rights of homeless people in decades, and how the court rules in a decision that will be expected at the end of this year will shape how cities respond to camping on public property and tent encampments. Just recently in this past legislative session, our legislator passed the House Bill 1365, which prohibits unauthorized public camping and public sleeping. So this is something, Mayor, I think we will all be keeping our eyes on, because that will truly impact how we address those type of issues here in the city of Orlando. Just a few upcoming events. One upcoming event, our mobile satellite office hours will be held this Wednesday, April the 24th at the L. Claudia Allen Center from 10 a.m. to 4. So residents of District 6, if you want to meet with my staff and I, please reach out and we'll get you on that schedule. And on the agenda today, Mayor, want to acknowledge to the Citizens Advisory appointments and say thank you to all of the residents who have agreed to serve our city in this capacity. We could not do the work of the city without the various citizen advisory boards. So thank you for that. Also, I'd like to express my support for I-3, the roadway construction agreement between the City of Orlando and Universal Development Partners related to Carrier Drive. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Gray.
Thank you, Mayor. Big agenda, so I'll be brief. Just two notes of thanks. Back on April 6th, we did a shred event in the Lake Nona area, and I didn't know people get so excited about shredding their paper, but believe me, they do. So I want to say thanks to Georgiana Butler and the volunteers and officers of OPD for contributing their Saturday morning to help residents get rid of some of their tax returns from 10 years ago, so thanks for that. And then coming up on Wednesday, this Wednesday in the Vista Lakes community, Chief Eric Smith is going to meet with the residents. So anybody in the southeast part of town, or the city for that matter, is welcome to attend at 6:30 on Wednesday. Call my office or OPD for more details if you want them. And I have nothing to really say on the consent agenda. I'll save my comments for the ordinances and other new business. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor. On Thursday, April 11th, we convened our second Neighborhood Leaders Council of the year. It was very informative. Mr. Kyle Shipper gave us an awesome presentation about the legislative season in Tallahassee. So thank you, Kyle. The community was very happy with your presentation. On Thursday, April 18th, my team and I attended the Tri-County League of Cities General Membership meeting at Camp Weewa in Apopka. Exploring the beautiful Camp Weewa was a remarkable experience, and witnessing its potential was truly impressive. For those of you that have not been up there, it's a great place to visit. I want to thank Mayor Brian for hosting us, Brian Nelson for hosting us in Apopka. On Saturday, April 20th, the Gateway District hosted its Jazz and Flavors Festival. In this event, we had a privilege of recognizing Mr. Hernan Teddy Mulet. I have to say it in Spanish because in English it wouldn't sound too good. An extraordinary trumpet player who had an illustrious career collaborating with artists like Eva Longoria, Miami Sound Machine, you name it. Witnessing the efforts of our Gateway District in promoting the arts has been truly amazing, especially through the highlighting of local artists during their month Arts After Dark festivals. This is very important. The SR 436, State Road 436 Transit-Oriented Development Study has hosted 3 meetings, with the most recent one occurring this past Saturday. The purpose was to discuss potential planning for future mixed-use and walkable developments supporting transit along the State Road 436, the Cimarron Boulevard corridor, from the Orlando International Airport to Colonial. These meetings have been invaluable in gauging the community's needs and sentiment. For additional information, please visit golinks.com/SR436. And a personal note, as we have now Brightline coming to the airport and we have Sunrail coming from north to south, is of most important that we develop a system to be able to bring people from the airport and from those areas all the way down to downtown or Altamont, around the region. We have over 70,000 vehicles that travel through that corridor on a daily basis. We have over 18,000 employees at the airport, so it's of most important. So for those of you that are interested in knowing more about what's going on, please visit that site, golinks.com/SR436. And tomorrow marks the beginning of week 8 of our Government Academy. Michelle Kremen and Orrin Henry will be discussing the City of Orlando's Business and Financial Services and Housing and Community Development Department. With only 5 weeks remaining in this incredible academy, there's still so much to learn and explore. And I want to thank those who have the instructors of the past. Public Works was there last week. They did a great presentation, and people are just so enthusiastic about learning how to navigate government. So everybody's invited. This is not just for certain people. This is for the whole state if they want to join us. It's totally free. It's once a week for 12 weeks. We do 2 academies during the year. One starts in February, the other one in August. The August one, if you speak Spanish, you can take it. If not, you have to wait until February. So that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for your comments about Lieutenant Huggins. It was such an honor to be there today, and more importantly, such an incredible experience to be part of that with our OFD family. So please keep their family in your prayers. Along what's going on, a couple of things. Today is Earth Day. We have mentioned that somewhere along the line, but also today at 5:30, Ivanhoe Village is doing a cleanup. So I think it's kind of over at Ivanhoe Park Brewing. So you may get a beer out of it if you come over. I'll say a special thank you to Deborah and Lori for another successful employee games. I appreciate that and the chance for us to continue our health awareness among city employees. I'll say a special thank you to Transportation and Public Works for we did a ribbon cutting for the packing district. And it was great to have John Tyler there from FDOT District 5, and he was very impressed with what we've done, and I appreciate the work that Corey and his staff have done, and Tanya and her staff has done, so thank you all very, very much. I'll say also thanks to the staff and Tyler for another after-school All-Stars Kids Classic. I don't know who won it or not, but if somebody will let me know who won the tournament, I'd give them some recognition. Saturday had the opportunity to participate in the Nowruz Persian New Year. It was such a wonderful inclusionary event. I had a chance to learn about the new year, about why it's important, about their opportunity and their optimism looking into a new year. It was good to spend time over there at the Orlando Museum of Art. Thank you for including me in that. We're celebrating 50 years of the Orlando Ballet. So there's a lot of milestones that are coming up. The Orlando Ballet is 50. College Park will be 100 next year. Dubstred's 100 this year. And this little old town called Orlando will be 150 years old next year. So, and Mayor, you look so good for 150, and I appreciate that. So just want to make sure that these milestones are important milestones, and they're representative of the fact that we are a community that has kind of a little stick-to-it-ness, if you want to call it, my mom used to say. I want to say a special thanks to Keisha Cox. She's going back up north. She's done some great work here in the city of Orlando, and I appreciate her so much. So I appreciate her being a good steward of what we've given her. She's going from being deputy director for something, then director, and then area director, and so she's been a good example for others. National Day of Prayer is coming up a week from this coming Thursday. So get a chance to join us on the steps of City Hall. We're going to have an opportunity to join faiths together to talk a little bit about what we can do as a community to come together. So we appreciate that. Some upcoming events I want to share with you. Friday, the Palm Gardens Orlando Apartments will open their phase 1. We're so excited about that. It'll be a total of about 189 apartments, I think, total when it's done. We're opening up 90. The mayor and I got a chance to look at that a couple of months ago. So excited about that. So if you get a chance, please listen to some of the news that's going on. And then the Pause for Peace is coming up at Blue Jacket Park this Saturday. On the agenda, Mayor, only thing I'll mention some comments on C9, but I do want to mention that I'm fully in support of item C6, putting up playoff banners for the Orlando Magic. Haven't done that in a while, and hadn't had the opportunity to approve that. So I'm grateful that we are now putting up some playoff banners up there. So Mayor, I'm honored to be part of that. So thank you. That's all that I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Sheehan.
Thank you, Mayor, and I just have a couple things. I attended the going away party for Pam Schwartz over at the Orange County History Center. She did an amazing job keeping the artifacts post-pulse. She will be very missed, but she's going on to another opportunity. We wish Pam well in her new endeavor. Main Streets have been doing some really exciting things. Orange County Arts has music grants that they've been doing, and Mills 50 and Soto has been taking advantage of these, and we applied and got them, and they have been having local bands. So we saw Rock Pit Brewing and Soto just had the Shabooms. It was an amazing concert. Mills 50 is having a whole concert series, so if you want to check it out, the Mills 50 page has all the bands that are coming up at all the different locations, and I have to tell you, there's some real talent in the music community, Mayor. I've seen more bands in the last month, I think, that I've seen my whole life. It's been incredible with local music. It's just a great thing, so I encourage everybody. Again, it's Mills 50 has a whole series going, and there's going to be other events, at the other main streets as well, but they're just absolutely wonderful bands. On the agenda today, on item C7, Shaka Donuts, glad to see the business assistance for them. They're moving into Curry Ford West. And finally, on item C12, the Orange Avenue Landscaping Agreement, which means finally that project might be coming to some level of fruition, thank God. Glad to see that. And on the agenda today as well, Career Source for Teens, item D1, that's jobs for youth in underserved communities. That's an amazing program. Glad to see that on the agenda today. And that's all I had, Mayor. Thank you. And with that, I will move the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, so the motion carries.
Excuse me, Mayor. I wanted to acknowledge someone in the audience. We have former school board member Kat Gordon with us, so I just want to acknowledge her presence. And
You're
say
hiding
good
back
afternoon.
there, Kat. Okay, the clerk mentioned to me that there are a number of people that are signed up for general appearance related to stormwater rates. We don't have anything on the actual rates on today's agendas. On the consent agenda, we passed a resolution on the methodology that we'll use to collect rates, but the actual rates itself will be on the May 13th meeting. And we're going to have a workshop on Wednesday, May the 8th from 5:30 to 7 on the 9th floor. So you're certainly free to stay and speak at general appearance, but I just, in case somebody thought that we were addressing the rates today, that's not on our agenda. See some quizzical looks out there. Okay? All right.
Mayor, could we just explain a little bit, because I think people are confused that the original mailer did say this date, but we decided because there was so much confusion, we wanted to
To have another
to have an
workshop.
additional workshop to answer people's questions, because a lot of people's questions, a lot of people misunderstood the mailer, and this way people can have their questions answered in a public way and have access to staff. But it was very confusing the way that the mailer was written. I've got folks saying, that it's going to increase substantially, and it's very confusing the way it was done. So we want to be able to do more.
Educate the public more.
Educate the public a little bit more and let you have your questions, your valid questions answered.
And man, I understand that a new letter is being sent out as well.
Okay.
So there will be a new letter sent.
So May the 13th for the council meeting and May the 8th for the workshop at 5:30. But again, you can stay and address us now since you're here if you want to, but you don't, not right now, but when general appearance comes around. But I didn't want you to think we were voting on that today if you're here simply for that. Okay, let's see, if there's no objection, I'm gonna recess the city council meeting and convene the CRA meeting. David?
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, and good afternoon, council members. Today we have one item before the CRA. It is a tri-party incentive agreement between the city, the CRA, and SED Development LLC. So we're excited that SED has a team that is ready and willing to begin construction on the site formerly where, as you mentioned, Mayor, earlier, that the Orlando Police Headquarters was, as well as the Church Street Garage was. The current plan for that site is to build 261 hotel rooms that would be stacked with 273 residential units. On the ground floor of that entire 8-acre facility, there would be about approximately 120,000 square feet of retail space, in addition to about 1,100 space parking garage, 300,000 square foot hotel, and one of the pieces I'm very excited about would be a 65,000 square foot event venue. As you will remember, there was an agreement, a development agreement, that council approved back in 2014. And at that time, there were significant conversations between the city and the CRA and the SED development team at that time as to how we can really fill the gap of having a space within downtown that can seat about over 1,000 people at round tables, so we can really play a role in meeting space for various different regional type events, and then have that connected to a very high quality 4- or 5-star hotel. So those people could also stay here, have their impact, and then ultimately purvey around downtown Orlando, patronize our businesses, and so on and so forth. Today, we have an update to that agreement as some time has passed. In that original agreement that I referenced, there was a $1.7 million that was offered to the team at that time to deliver a venue that could accomplish just what I mentioned to you. That number in today's agreement has been updated to $2.5 million. Obviously, it's been a significant time, and increases in construction costs and financing rates play a role in that. One of the exciting things as well to me is that the team has been able to do that in a much more effective way in a multi-form theater, so we can have it activated in a significant amount of other ways than just having traditional meetings there, so it can be activated even more of the times that will be located in downtown. Secondarily, there is a CRA tax increment that is being proposed to you. The way that is structured is that it is a 100% rebate of the taxes that individual development would generate for 4 years. After that, that amount would decrease. It would go down to 80% until one of two things happens. Either a ceiling of $40 million is reached, or the CRA was to expire, and then no additional payouts would be required after that point. There's a component as well, you heard me mention the office space. If that does not come online at the same time frame, that ceiling would be reduced to $35 million to accommodate for that until the point at which the office building was ultimately delivered. Finally, there are several additional benchmarks that are a party to this agreement, one of which is that there is a Paramore Merchant Program. So there will be space at the ground floor in the retail space where it will be fully built out so that a local merchant can really just bring their FF&E and operate within that space. And then that would see, they would pay a small portion of percentage rent, but that would be looked at as a way to get them on their feet, serve as an incubator of sorts. So hopefully they can move on and be another one of the traditional tenants, and then have that space be opened for another business to come and have that opportunity. In addition to having something that was never contemplated on the onset of these agreements, which is 10 units of attainable housing at 80% AMI or less in the development as well. That's only pertinent to the 273 residential units that are being built as a part of this phase. In total, the projections, the developer is investing approximately $500 million in this phase. And we project those tax revenues over the next 15 years to be approximately $63 million. And I'm happy to address any questions.
Commissioner Burns.
Yes, thank you, David, for that explanation. When I was briefed on this, we had some discussions about the merchant program, and I advocated for MWE. Understand that's just not a public procurement, and I understand that the SED partners have agreed to work towards those city goals of the MWBE participation. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. They've announced that not only in the percentage, but also in offering opportunities in the workforce in and of itself. When that has been approached, the same component with the Orlando Magic and Advent Health and Training Center that is just around the corner, they actually were able to exceed the city's typical 24% requirement. They were at about 30% on that particular project. That has also been incorporated into this agreement via the letter that is pertinent to the CRA agreement that they have to report back on an annual basis.
Yeah, so I wanted to be clear. So there is for them to receive that tax benefit, if you will, we're making it contingent that they adhere to the MWBE requirements, the merchant program, as well as the attainable housing.
Correct. All the 3 items referenced, or 4 items actually, in that additional letter that you have a copy of, which is the Paramore Merchant Program, the MWBE participation. There's a commitment to occupancy there as well, and the attainable housing is required and held accountable via the CRA incentive agreement as a performance benchmark.
So, and I understand that there's at least potentially 2 additional phases that's planned for this area. And so at that time, if there's some incentives based on those 2 phases, a new incentive agreement will come back before the council for consideration, or is this agreement, does that carry over into the 2nd and 3rd phases?
This agreement is only pertinent to the Phase 1 and Phase 1A that I referenced before you today, those 2 additional sites that are on the northern side of that 8-acre. If an incentive was offered, that would have to come back before this board for approval as to any components of it. This item does not pertain to it whatsoever.
And the development agreement is just for Phase 1 as well, correct?
The development agreement, correct.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
Do you have a motion? Motion by Commissioner Stewart.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gray. Discussion, Commissioner Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor. A few things that we possibly failed to mention is the amount of jobs that this is going to be creating, so I'm going to do a little quick rundown. During the construction side is we expect about 5,289 jobs and 865 million of economic output. Direct impact is 3,412 jobs and economic output of approximately 540 million, including 203 million of labor income. Indirect impact, 891 jobs and economic output of 168 million, including 57 million of labor income. On the stabilized operation, we expect about 3,413 jobs and 362 million of annual economic output. All this is just during the building, and then once it's established. It doesn't even talk about the different conferences that we may bring and all this sales taxes is going to be bringing. So I think it's a great investment, and 40 million of a tax break. For those that don't understand that, a lot of people outside of the community have been asking me, why are we using your taxes to to allow for this. I said, unless you live downtown within the CRA, unless you have a business downtown, you're not giving anything because it's not, your money's been utilized. Which brings me to another subject, which is something I've been wanting to discuss. CRA was formed almost 42 years ago, and it was formed in the backs of a lot of our stakeholders we have downtown, and those guys have been there doing good, bad, ugly, pretty, and everything. And it's something that we have to be very, very happy with because we have seen a different downtown mayor under your direction and the team that we have here and our staff, which are incredible. We have seen great changes in our downtown. However, today we're passing this particular item, which is going to bring great opportunities. And I think everybody's on board with this. I think this is going to be a great advancement for our community. But I cannot stop to think what this, the fact that we are still forcing some of our business to pay for out of their pocket, in addition to the CRA and the DDB monies to keep our law enforcement active, extra law enforcement, in order to maintain our downtown safe. And I think if we are able, our CRA is producing about $56 million and the DDB another $4 million, and we foresee our CRA to keep increasing, I think it would be a good time for us to reconsider and allow for these business owners, stakeholders to not have to pay these monies and being able to use these monies for revitalization of their efforts. I'm planning to sit with you, Mayor, to bring a plan that would help us in downtown in terms of eliminate or reduce, if any kind of crime through implementation of cameras and a new system of traffic. But I think we should consider heavily, and I know you have thought about this. I know that you're always looking to help our community in many ways, to see if we can stop having them paying for those extra monies, which are putting a huge dent on their businesses, and they could be using those monies to revitalize their businesses and maybe come up with new variation of businesses that would help our economy in downtown. And those are my comments.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Gray?
Yeah, Mayor, thank you, Mayor, very much. I wanted to kind of weigh in on this because I've said before, I think this project could be one of the more transformative projects that we've seen in a long time downtown. And look, I get the understanding that we're contributing $40 million in tax revenue, and that's a lot of money. So I understand the concern, but I think if you look a little deeper, and Tony touched on some of it, but I see this project as not just foregoing tax revenue, but it's an investment, and it's an investment from these areas where I think will pan out. Number one, I think this is clearly a strong sponsor and a strong developer. They've done this in Sacramento, so there's a track record of doing it successfully. So we're not dealing with rookies, and whenever you invest money, you've got to make sure you're aligned with a group that will deliver what they say they're going to deliver. So that's one reason I'm behind this. The second one is what Tony mentioned, and that's job creation, both during construction and after. There will be jobs across all pay scales for all folks, and we need more of that downtown. We do not have enough of that. We need more of that downtown. And the third reason, which I think is equally as important as the first two, is I think this development has the opportunity to really kind of energize downtown, and more specifically the Church Street corridor. I've said it before, we have a huge investment in the arena. We have a huge investment in our Performing Arts Center. And right now, as a gentleman that works downtown every day, I see how this works. People come to the arena for an event. They come, they park, maybe they stop for a burger on the way in, but most likely they come to the concert or the ball game, and then they get back in their car and go back home. We need to have a reason to capture folks and keep them downtown and make it a positive experience, not just a good concert and not just a good ball game or a good show at the Performing Arts Center. This project will do that. This gives people the opportunity to come early, whether they're going to dine, shop, recreate, whatever they do. This project is big enough of enough mass that could happen, and I think it will. And not only will it energize directly across the arena, but our entire Church Street corridor. I think this will be the catalyst and the seed for other businesses to grow. We all remember, if you've been in Orlando for a while, Church Street used to be a happening place. And for whatever reasons, and there's a lot of blame to go around, you can't put it on any one person or any individual. It's not that way now. And for us to compete with all the suburban markets, and I live in one in Lake Nona, but we have one in Horizons West and Lake Mary. We've got to give folks a reason to want to come downtown, and this is one reason they can do it. And again, strong sponsorship behind it, so I am confident it will get done. So I look at this, yes, it's contributing $40 million of tax revenue, but more importantly, it's an investment, and I see a lot of benefits and return on that investment over the long run. So I completely support it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Ortiz?
Mayor, if I may add, I really appreciate those comments. Right on, Commissioner Gray. I think that also is going to revitalize our field in the sense of new businesses wanting to come downtown, seeing what we really have downtown, which at the end of the day is going to empower that CRA. We're going to be generating even more. So that's what I want to reiterate, that maybe a 4%, at least a 4% of that CRA money we should just dedicate to law enforcement as an initiative, not as a general, regular payroll thing, but as an initiative downtown, just like Seminole is doing, and some other areas here in the city, in the region. So I think this is going to be such a game changer in so many ways. Not only is it going to incentivize our businesses, but there's a lot of empty offices, spaces that need to be filled, and I think that's also going to bring people back to downtown. So.
Okay, did we have a motion already? I don't remember.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Further comment? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and so the motion carries. David, anything else to come before the CRA today?
That is all, Mayor.
Okay, then we'll stand adjourned as the CRA will reconvene the city council meeting for the purpose of voting on item C9 from the consent agenda, which is the mirror companion issue before council. Is there a motion? Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, and so the motion carries. And we will again recess without objection, and we will call the Neighborhood Improvement District meeting, Board of Directors meeting to order. Brooke,
Good afternoon.
one item as well.
Yes, one item. We have the funding agreement for the Orange Avenue landscaping improvements. This is an agreement between the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District and the City of Orlando to implement landscaping improvements along South Orange Avenue. This will add landscaping and trees to the Orange Avenue streetscape from Pine Lock to Grant Street. The project will be funded by the Neighborhood Improvement District and is currently included in the budget for $319,912.64. The city will be reimbursed by FDOT through a landscaping grant for $90,677. The Neighborhood Advisory Board recommended these expenditures be approved on March 21st of this year. The landscaping contract was secured through procurement. And on the consent agenda, the construction timeline for this project is estimated to occur between June and July of this year. That is all.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, and so the motion carries. Any further business?
That is all. Thank you.
Then we will stand adjourned as the Neighborhood Improvement District, and we will reconvene the city council meeting, and that brings us to hearings. Ordinances, first reading, number 1.
Ordinance number 2024-18, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, regarding drive-through facilities, replacing all references to drive-in facilities with drive-through facilities, and updating the use regulations for such facilities, providing legislative findings, and for severability, codification, correction of scrivener's error, and an effective date.
Okay, we have no request for public testimony. Is there, let's have a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. This is one of those ordinances that requires a public hearing after 5 o'clock unless we vote by supermajority to hold the second public hearing at our normal city council time. Staff recommends that we do so and have the next public hearing council meeting beginning at 2. Do I have a motion for such?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, hearings, ordinances, second reading.
Ordinance number 2024-8, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to the city's growth management plan, amending the city's adopted growth management plan future land use element figure LU-1 to allow commercial use as a principal use in the industrial future land use designation within the Paramore Heritage Overlay District, providing for severability, correction of Scrivener's error, and an effective date.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Burns, second by Commissioner Sheehan. I have no request for public participation. Discussion, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, number 2, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance number 2024-9, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to district use standards within the Paramore Heritage Overlay District, amending Chapter 58, Part A, 2AI Land Development Code entitled Paramore Heritage Overlay District PH, providing for severability, codification, correction of Scrivener's error, and an effective date.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Commissioner Burns, second by Commissioner Sheehan. I have no request for public participation. Discussion, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 3, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance number 2024-10, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, rezoning certain land generally located on the south side of Roberto Clemente Road, east of South Cimarron Boulevard, and west of Pablo Lane, and comprised of approximately 1.4 acres of land from planned development with the aircraft noise and Cimarron Boulevard Special Plan Overlay Districts to the medium-intensity mixed-use corridor zoning district with the aircraft noise and Cimarron Boulevard Special Plan Overlay Districts, providing for amendment of the city's official zoning maps, providing for severability, correction of Scrivener's errors, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Ortiz, second by Commissioner Stewart. I have no cards for public participation, so is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 4, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance number 2024-11, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, designating certain land generally located north of West Church Street, south of West Central Boulevard, west of South Huey Avenue, and east of South Division Avenue, and comprised of 8.43 acres of land, more or less, as planned development district with the traditional city and Paramore Heritage Overlay Districts on the city's official zoning maps, providing special land development regulations of the planned development district, providing for severability, correction of Scrivener's errors, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Commissioner Burns, second by Commissioner Sheehan. I have no request for public testimony. Discussion, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, ordinances on first reading, number 1.
Ordinance number 2024-19, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the city's growth management plan to change the future land use map designation for certain land generally located south of Turnbull Drive, west of Commander Drive, north of Hoffner Avenue, and east of South Cimarron Boulevard, comprised of 10.45 acres of land, more or less, from industrial to community activity center, amending the boundary of sub-area policy S.23.2 to include the subject property and changing the property zoning designation from industrial park with the aircraft noise and Cimarron Gateway Special Plan Overlay Districts to community activity center with aircraft noise and Cimarron Gateway Special Plan Overlay Districts, providing for amendment of the city's growth management plan and zoning maps, providing for severability, correction of Scrivener's errors, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Ortiz, second by Commissioner Stewart. I have no request to comment. Discussion, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, and so the motion carries. And number 2.
Ordinance number 2024-20, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, annexing to the corporate limits of the city certain land generally located south of the Stanton Energy Plant and State Road 528, east of the Starwood property and north of the Osceola County line, and comprised of 5,398.094 acres of land, more or less, providing for severability, correction of Scrivener's error, and an effective date.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Ortiz. And I do have a request for comment. Andrew Mai with Orange County.
Good afternoon. My name is Andrew Mai. I'm an Assistant County Attorney for Orange County, Florida, located at 201 South Rosalind Avenue, Orlando, Florida. The county requests that this annexation be delayed or denied. Tomorrow, the county commission will be considering a resolution which, if adopted, would initiate the conflict resolution procedure pursuant to Florida statutes regarding the Stage 1 annexation. It would be prudent to delay this annexation until resolution of the conflict with the county is resolved. In addition, the annexation before you today is defective because it is not compact, it creates a large enclave, and it creates pockets in a serpentine pattern. The county requests that you delay or deny the adoption of this annexation ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, and we are sending a written response to your letter over. If we haven't done it already, it'll be a little bit this afternoon, so you'll have it for tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Mayor, point of order. Commissioner Burns wanted to make sure that we did vote on C9, because we had put it after the other.
We did.
We did. It's one point of order. I just wanted to clarify that. Okay, thank you.
Okay, did we vote? We didn't vote on this one, though, right?
No.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicates so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, could you get us ready for general appearance?